What's up? Plutty Sports Gamer here. And with 2 weeks left in the NFL regular season, I want to make my predictions for each team vying for a playoff spot in each conference. So we look at the standings. Buffalo. Buffalo, I think, are going to beat the Bengals, and they're going to beat the Patriots. The Bengals, I don't know if that's going to be an offset, but I really think they're going to beat the Bengals because I don't think the Bengals would keep up with the offense of Buffalo. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I think Buffalo's going to pull it out. So Buffalo's going to finish 14-3 and take the number 1 seed. Let's go to the 2 seed, Kansas City. They are going to win out. They're going to beat the Broncos and they're going to beat the Raiders. So they're going to be 14-3, and I think Buffalo has a tiebreaker, so Buffalo will finish first. The 3 seed Cincinnati, they're going to lose to Buffalo, but they're going to beat the Ravens. So they'll win the division at 12-5. Then we look at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, man, I love this team. This is a very surprised team. Look at how they started off, I think, 2-7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2-6. And they're going to finish 9-8. They're going to beat the Texans. They better not have a letdown, but I think they're going to beat the Texans, and they'll beat the Titans. Titans, craziness with the Titans. I think injuries to quarterback have killed that team. So Jacksonville is going to take the number 4 spot. Look at the Titans. It's unbelievable. They've lost 6 straight games. They were looking real good. They should be dominating that division. The division's bad. They're going to lose to Jacksonville to end the season and be out of the playoffs. Miami is going to lose to the Patriots for their 5th straight loss. There's another team, but I think they'll beat the Jets. So they'll finish on 9-8. The Patriots are going to beat the Dolphins, but lose to the Bills because the Bills are going to need to win that game to get the number 1 seed. So the Bills are going to be playing full out. So they're going to beat the Patriots in the last week of the season, and they're going to finish at 8-9. The Jets, I think they're gonna lose out. I think they're gonna lose to Seattle, and they're gonna lose to the Dolphins. Another team. This is the AFC. These teams just cannot win at the end of the season. They're gonna lose their last 6 games to finish out of the playoffs. Pittsburgh. This is a surprising team that they're doing so well. The quarterbacks for this team this year are so bad. Trubisky, he's not that good. So they're going to lose to the Ravens, but I think they'll beat the Browns and finish 8-9. And I think I checked this. Tomlin, I think it's going to be his first losing season of his Pittsburgh coaching career, I think. They finished a couple of times 8-8. I really think Tomlin, they say Belichick is like one of the best coaches, and he deserves it. But Tomlin should be right up there. He's always had a winner in Pittsburgh. I know they had Big Ben, and Big Ben was pretty good in his prime, but still, he's still winning games with lackluster quarterbacks. And the Raiders are going to lose out. Stidham's not going to. And there's some wacky ESPN guy saying the Raiders are going to beat the 49ers. There's no possible way the Raiders are going to beat the 49ers. That's Stidham at quarterback. No way. I'm sorry. Hopefully I'm not biting my words, but I really don't think so. So the Chargers are going to beat. I think the Chargers are going to win out, beat the Rams, and beat the Broncos, and finish at 11-6. So we got Buffalo 1, Kansas City 2, Cincinnati 3, Jacksonville 4. I don't know who would have the tiebreaker between Baltimore and the Chargers. I think the Chargers might have the tiebreaker. So Chargers 5, Baltimore 6, and Miami 7. That's my prediction for the AFC. NFC, Philly. I think they're gonna win out. They're gonna beat the Saints and they're gonna beat the Giants. Hurts probably will be back for the Giants game. I think Minshew would carry them past the Saints. He did pretty good against the Cowboys, besides a couple of errors, but I think they're gonna win out. And if they win the next game, they'll probably bench Hurts and save him for the playoffs. So the 2, Minnesota. Minnesota is going to lose to the Packers, but beat the Bears. I think they're going to go 1-1. And I think they're going to finish below the 49ers. So let's look at the 49ers. They're going to the Raiders and the Cardinals. I think they'll definitely win both. The Cardinals are in a tailspin. I think they're going to beat the Raiders at Vegas and finish tied with Minnesota, but they have the tiebreaker. So they'll finish with the 2nd seed. Tampa is I don't know what's going on with Tampa this year. They're just not looking good offensively. This is going to be quite a game against the Panthers. I think they're going to pull it out against the Panthers. A lot of people are predicting the Panthers to win, but I think Tampa is going to pull it out and win the division. I think they'll beat the Falcons. I think they're going to win out. I hope Carolina wins. I'm going for Carolina, but I think Tampa is going to win them out and go 9-8. Look at Dallas. Dallas got the Commanders, and they might possibly rest their players against the Commanders. Like, they have nowhere to go because Philly's going to win and go 14-2. So Dallas is not going to win a division. They're probably going to rest their players against the Commanders. I think they'll lose to Washington to go 12-5. Giants. They're going to beat the Colts. And I think if Philly clinches the division this year, their rest of players, I think they're going to lose to Philly. Even with Minshew at quarterback and their bench players, I think they'll lose to Philly. I'm not really impressed with the Giants. And they've been in a tailspin towards the end of the season. They had that big win against the Commanders. They're not doing that great. They're an overachieving team. But they'll finish 9-7-1. Washington. I think they'll beat the Browns. And like I said, I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. So I think Washington is going to get into the playoffs at 9-7-1. And hopefully, because Green Bay has been on a roll the last 3 weeks. And I think they're going to beat the Vikings. And I think they'll beat the Lions. But it's not going to be enough, I don't think. I hope not. Even though I wanted Aaron Rodgers to go to the 49ers for them to have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. But I just can't stand the Packers. And I hope they don't make the playoffs. I hope Washington wins the last 2 games to get into the playoffs. Because I think Green Bay is going to win them both. Detroit's going to beat the Bears, but lose to the Packers to finish 8-9. I'm a big fan of Hard Knocks, and I saw Detroit was in Hard Knocks in the preseason, and it made me root for them, seeing them in the preseason. I wanted them to win this year, and started off so bad. And if they just won some of those close games, they would have been in the playoffs. So hopefully next year they could turn it around and start off decent, and I think they'll be a playoff team next year. Carolina. Unfortunately for Carolina, they're going to lose to the Buccaneers, and I think they'll lose to the Saints too. I'm rooting for them to win, but I think they're going to lose both. If they were playing at home, it would have been a different story, but they're playing on the road both games, and I think they'll lose both games. The Saints are going to lose to the Eagles, but beat the Panthers to finish short of the playoffs. I think that's another pretty, I don't know where they're supposed to be as far as record. the Seahawks. They're going to beat the Jets, and I think they'll beat the Rams. Rams are in a tailspin. They're both at home, so I think they'll win both of those games at home to finish 9-8, but lose out by a half game to Washington. So that's my prediction. Philly 1, 49ers 2, Minnesota 3, Tampa 4, Dallas 5, Giants 6, Washington 7. And the NFC East is quite a division this year. Every team's going to be a winner. There's not really... And I know I'm a homie and I love the 49ers, but this seems to me that they're the only real strong team in the NFC. I'm not a believer in Philly. I know they have an awesome defense, and their offense is good enough. They have 2 big-time receivers and a good running back. But I just don't. I don't think they're ready yet. I don't think they're going to perform. I think they're going to lose in the playoffs. They'll probably be facing either Tampa or Dallas. I think Actually, I think they'll beat both those teams. Dallas is a perennial playoff choker. I think Dallas will beat Tampa, but I think they'll lose to Philly. Unless Minnesota loses, then Philly plays someone else. But yeah, all right, there's 2 teams in NFC that are decent. Minnesota, I don't believe Minnesota. If they play like a team like the 49ers, then they always go down. They always have to come back in the second half. They're not going to come back in the second half against the defense like the 49ers or the defense against the Eagles like the Eagles. No way. I don't think Minnesota's that strong. They're just very, very lucky. In the AFC, you got the 3 teams: Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. With Buffalo having home field advantage, I think they're finally going to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think they have a good shot at winning the Super Bowl. So these are my final standing predictions. What do you guys think? You think I'm wrong? Do you think Washington's not going to pull out? Think Green Bay is going to sneak in? Just let me know. Comment down below. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks.